The day the PTA demanded my lunchbox. I was halfway through the school pickup line when the woman in the green minivan leaned out and pointed at my backpack. "You have extra glue sticks, right?" she asked. I blinked. The other parents were staring. It started with a simple request. Mrs. Delaney, who'd been volunteering at the school for 20 years, had just handed me a flyer for the PTA's new Shared Resources initiative. "We're trying to reduce waste," she explained. "If you have supplies you're not using, we can redistribute them." I nodded politely. My son, Ethan, was inside the school with his class, and I had a feeling this would be one of those moments that would make it into the parent Facebook group. But then Mrs. Delaney's voice sharpened. "You have 6 glue sticks in your bag." She gestured at my backpack as if it were a vault. "That's 3 more than the school's recommended amount. You're expected to share." The line behind me shifted uncomfortably. I glanced down at my backpack, which had been with me since college. It was worn but reliable, the kind of bag that had survived 3 moves and 2 breakups. I stammered. "I guess they're for Ethan's art projects?" "Exactly," Mrs. Delaney said, "but we need to ensure equitable distribution." She turned to the other parents. "We've all seen how some kids have more supplies than others. This initiative is about fairness." A murmur of agreement rippled through the line. I could see a few parents checking their own bags, as if suddenly aware they might be in violation. "Look," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "I didn't realize this was a thing. I bought them for Ethan." Mrs. Delaney's eyes narrowed. "You're not listening. This is about community responsibility." She tapped her clipboard. "According to the PTA guidelines, any unused supplies must be shared with students in need. You've been warned before about this, haven't you?" No, I said. "I don't think so." "You have until the end of the week to comply," she announced. "Otherwise, we'll have to take them from your bag ourselves." The line behind me was now completely silent. A few parents were openly watching the exchange with a mix of curiosity and concern. Back at the school, I tried to explain it to the principal. "Look, Mrs. Delaney is just overstepping," I said. "This isn't what the PTA discussed last month." Principal Nguyen looked sympathetic but firm. "I understand your concerns, but the PTA has been working on this initiative for months. The new policy was approved by the board last week." "I see," I said slowly. "So, you're saying this is official?" "Official and binding," she confirmed. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with Ethan and tried to explain what had happened. He looked up from his homework with a frown. "But Mom, why do we need to share our supplies?" "I don't know, sweetheart," I said honestly. "Maybe it's supposed to be good for the community? Or maybe," I trailed off. The next morning at school pickup, I was prepared. I had a small bag of supplies ready: markers, glue sticks, even some extra notebook paper. As I approached Mrs. Delaney's van, she looked up with an approving nod. "Ah," she said, "you've come to do the right thing." "I guess so," I replied, "but I still don't understand why this is happening." She smiled politely. "It's about making sure every child has equal access to resources. We all want that, don't we?" I nodded slowly, unsure if I was buying it or not. By the end of the week, the situation had escalated. Other parents started bringing supplies for redistribution, some voluntarily, others under pressure from the PTA. The school office had set up a temporary resource center in the lobby with bins labeled by supply type and grade level. Then came the incident. A parent named Mr. Thompson tried to take supplies from another parent's bag during pickup. A scuffle broke out, and suddenly the principal was involved. The situation became so chaotic that the school had to send out an emergency email. "Please note that all supply redistribution will now be handled by PTA volunteers only. Thank you for your cooperation." I found myself in a meeting with the PTA board the following week. The room was filled with people I barely knew, all discussing how to make the initiative more effective. "You see," Mrs. Delaney explained as she passed around a new version of the guidelines, "we're just trying to ensure that no child is left behind." "I understand," I said carefully, "but maybe we should be talking about this before it becomes a thing where people are taking supplies from each other's bags." She smiled politely again. "That's what community is for, isn't it? Looking out for one another." I left that meeting with more questions than answers. The PTA had become something else entirely, not just a group of parents helping out at school events, but an organization with rules and power. Now, as I sit here typing this, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly happened. Was it about fairness? About community responsibility? Or was it something more surreal? Comment your take.